If you want a small car that doesn't compromise on luxury nor desirability, then you need one of these. But which should you choose between the recently updated Mercedes A-Class, the even more recently updated Audi A3 Sportback, or the not quite so recently updated BMW 1 Series? Small posh car group test, yeah, these are cars I can actually afford and I want. To help you decide which of these suits you best, I'm going to compare their cabins. I feel like I'm sat in the future. Critique their design. It's a little bit like currywurst and sauerkraut. See how practical they are. So yeah, it's a case of form over function. And test what they're like to drive. Now this 1 Series has an ace up its sleeve. But first, let's talk about their prices. So the A-Class starts at £19,900. The A3 is a bit cheaper, it starts at £19,365, but it's the BMW that's the most expensive because it starts from £20,930. But then it does have a more powerful engine, the entry-level BMW, than the other two cars. And anyway, what really matters is the price you can get on these cars in real life. And if you click up there to go to carwow.co.uk, you can build your ideal car and see the best deal you can get on it. So let's start with the BMW, which is actually the oldest car here. But hey, I'm here to do an unbiased review, so that shouldn't put you off this car. And actually, you know, there's plenty to like about this 1 Series, such as it is definitely the most sporty feeling to sit in, and I like that about it. Trouble is, the design is a little bit on the boring side. And while it feels solid, there are quite a few cheapo materials if you look deep enough. It's actually a very similar story here in the A-Class. I mean, it all looks very good, but it just seems to have a little bit more pizzazz than the dour BMW. But the attention to detail isn't quite what you might expect from a Mercedes. For instance, the door trim doesn't match up to the dash. I mean, come on guys. There's none of that slapdash nonsense here in the Audi A3, oh no. Instead, you've got some rather cool features like this optional digital driver's display. This is one totally awesome upgrade and it's dead easy to use. And so is the rest of the cabin. Material quality is noticeably superior to the BMW and the Mercedes, and the design is simple yet elegant. A theme which continues on the outside of the car. Audi has recently given the A3 a little bit of a revamp with some new bumpers at the front and here at the back, plus some pulsing rear indicators. Despite the changes though, the Audi is still the most conservative. The BMW on the other hand has a far more distinctive flavour. It's a little bit like currywurst and sauerkraut, not to everyone's taste. There is no doubting this is a BMW, and in this M Sport trim it looks like it means business, though in an aggressive telesale sort of a way. With the A-Class, it's all about that Mercedes badge, which is absolutely massive. It's a bit like having a huge logo on a piece of designer clothing. To be fair, the design does a good job of combining the elegance of the Audi with the sportiness of the BMW, but there is a price to pay for your art. So the design of these lights actually eat into the boot opening, so yeah, it's a case of form over function. The boot is not only the hardest to pack, it's also the smallest of the three. And while cubby spaces are good, fitting a child seat is made difficult by the small doors. And tight rear headroom means it's a squeeze for taller people in the back. However, it's okay for shorter people and wide enough to make 3 up not too much of a squeeze. The BMW has better rear headroom, but the narrow body means it's the worst for carrying 3 at once. Plus, it has the least leg room. However, wide opening rear doors means fitting a baby seat is hassle-free. Also, the boot is bigger and easier to load than the Mercedes A-Classes. What's more surprising is that in the BMW, in-car storage is actually pretty decent. I mean, look at the front door bins, they can hold 3 drinks. Actually, this is in too. Get rid of that. Cubbies are just as good in the Audi, and it has the biggest and most useful boot with an adjustable false floor and loads of room. The widest rear doors and easy access Isofix anchors make it the simplest for fitting a child seat, and it has the best rear head and legroom of all 3 cars here. It's just a shame the central seat is really uncomfy. If there's just 2 of you in the back, then there's oodles of room. It's definitely the most comfy car of the 3 in the rear seats and the most practical one overall. However, this isn't usually a priority for these kind of cars. What's often a bigger lure for target buyers is onboard technology. So, the Mercedes, it does okay, but its system isn't quite as slick as the other 2 cars. Also, the screen is a little like a knockoff iPad, though it does look better with the larger display you get if you upgrade to the expensive Command Online. But if you don't want to spend the extra cash, you do get Apple CarPlay as standard, though at the moment there's no Android Auto. However, you don't get any smartphone mirroring with the BMW, but it's not such an issue as the iDrive is the most intuitive operating system here. It's just so easy to use and the online services are impressive. The swivel wheel and touchpad system is the nicest to operate too. The new Audi system gets very close though. It's really good to use and well thought out. Plus, it's the only car here to get both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. But the icing on the cake is that amazing optional virtual cockpit, which just helps the new A3 to win this tech battle. But that doesn't mean the war is over. These cars still need to fight things out on the road. Let's start with the BMW. Now this 1 Series has an ace up its sleeve, and that's the fact that unlike the other two which are front wheel drive, it's actually rear wheel drive, and that just makes it more sporty and more fun. And actually it's a really comfortable car to travel in. It deals with bumps in the road very well. If there is one problem, it's the fact that you do get quite a lot of road noise. Can't fault the engines really. I mean, they are a bit noisy, the diesels, but they're strong performance and pretty economical. I'm averaging 47 in this 2 litre 120D. I actually prefer the petrols. Always get an auto if you can afford it. The 8-speed auto in the BMW 1 Series is wonderful. The automatic in the Audi A3 isn't quite as good, but it's still pretty impressive, and the manuals are definitely nicer to use than those in the BMW. But how does the rest of the car compare? Okay, so this car is the perfect lesson in how to do a well-rounded small premium hatchback. So it might not be as sporty to drive as the BMW, but it still corners very well, and it's super comfy and quiet. I mean, everything just works. It's just dead easy to live with. This is a car that you can enjoy no matter whether you're driving in town, on the motorway, or on a twisty road. It is really impressive. So too are the engines. This diesel that I've got in this, the 2 litre diesel, 150 horsepower, supposed to do 67 miles per gallon, and I'm getting 56. It's really hard to fault this A3. Maybe that makes it a little bit predictable, but predictably good. Finally, we come to the A-Class, a car which has so much to live up to considering how good the rest of the Mercedes range is. So, have we saved the best till last? So when you first drive the Mercedes A-Class, you really hope for a lot because it does look pretty smart on the outside, and it's got that 3-pointed star. In isolation, it's alright, but when you compare it to its premium rivals, it seems just a little bit lacking. It's not as comfortable as it should be. It's noisier than you'd expect a Mercedes to be. The engines are only all right, and the diesel in this, it's quite noisy when you rev it out. It's punchy enough though, the 2.1 litre in this A200, and economy should be around 68 miles per gallon, though I'm only getting 45. Oh dear. And if you think this car is sporty because it looks sporty, yeah, don't go throwing it into any corners because it does start to run wide if you get a bit carried away, and it doesn't help that the steering is all, well, it's really vague. Still, loads of people will buy it because of the badge, won't they? Let's be honest. So then, where does all that leave us? Well, the A-Class. I mean, it looks great and it's got that ultra desirable Mercedes badge, which, well, that'll be enough for some people. The BMW 1 Series, yeah, it's the most fun car here to drive, and it's got a brilliant infotainment system. But really, it's the new Audi A3 Sportback with its, well, it does everything. It's practical, it's comfortable, it's desirable, it's packed full of tech, and it drives beautifully. You know, I could go on, but we need to finish the video, and that's why the A3 Sportback wins this test. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel. And if you click over there, you can watch the individual reviews of the Audi A3, the Mercedes A-Class, and the BMW 1 Series. Now, did you know that the Audi A3 used in this test actually had over £5,000 worth of options on it?